ranked Gators, handing Florida their first loss of the season. Now, the rematch as Tennessee travels to Gainesville for a face-off in Gator country.
It's been one of the most talked about rematches in the Southeastern Conference. Back on January 21st, the Tennessee Volunteers filled up Thompson Bowling Arena to the tune of 24,000. And tonight we will have another capacity crowd here at the O'Connell Center as Florida welcomes the Volunteers. And hello again, everybody. I'm Dave Neal, and welcome to Gainesville, Florida. So glad you can be a part of our All-Tel SEC basketball telecast tonight. This has been a game that we've all been looking forward to. These were two teams that were unranked to begin the season. Now they're ranked number 10 and number 12. But there's more to this game than just revenge for the Florida Gators. There's also the little tidbit about SEC standings. And the Tennessee Volunteers right now with a 2-game lead over Florida. If the Vols can pull off the win tonight on the road, they would clinch at least a tie for the SEC East standings. Meanwhile, a win by Florida, and they're still in the hunt, really, for the big picture for an SEC regular season title. I'm Dave Neal alongside my partner, Barry Booker. And Barry, obviously, this is a big game. It's hard to believe we're saying a big game with Tennessee from what's been going on the last 4 years, but obviously in big games, there's got to be some big-time performers.
We got stars all over the court tonight, and none bigger than Corey Brewer, one of the most explosive scorers in the Southeastern Conference, especially in the open court. He can be dominating, but the biggest job he's going to have tonight is on the defensive end, taking on Chris Lawton, a guy who, if he gets a shot off lately, it is going in. Shooting 71% from three-point range in the last 4 ball games. A ridiculous 29 threes over those 4 ball games. He is an incredible scorer who, once he catches the ball, there is not much a defender can do.
Did you notice the depth on those shots? Oh, yeah, he's way back there. He's kind of feeling it, you might say. Well, give us your Pontiac keys to the game.
The keys to the game tonight for Tennessee, it's all about Chris Lawton. When Tennessee has needed a big performance in their biggest games, Lawton has been there and produced. And for Florida, it's dominated inside. They were out-rebounded by Tennessee in Knoxville. They can't let that happen tonight. They have to dominate scoring and rebounding in the paint.
Barry, this should be a lot of fun. The first game was one of those classics. We should have another one tonight here in Gainesville. Florida and Tennessee, it's on the way.
Easy to use.
FSN Florida is your new home for college basketball. From the Knowles, Gators, and Canes to
the All-Tel SEC Game of the Week is being brought to you by All-Tel, by Red Lobster, by Purnell Sausage, by Pontiac, and by Bell South.
Back inside the O-Dome, the O'Connell Center here in Gainesville, Florida. Over 12,000 will be on hand. Student body lining up all afternoon. They are excited to be in here, hoping to seek a little revenge against this group right here that put together quite the show in Knoxville on January 21st. We highlight Major Wingate because really in Southeastern Conference play, he has been everything that Bruce Pearl wants. He's shooting over 57% from the field, and he's provided that physical presence that Tennessee needs down in the middle. Also, Andre Patterson has started the last few weeks. Florida of Lee Humphrey, who will play quite a bit tonight. There's Bruce Pearl, head coach in his first year up at Tennessee. 12th year overall as a head coach, 250 career wins. Billy Donovan, the senior citizen, 15 and 96. Bruce Benedict, Doug Sermons, and Ted Valentine are our officials.
Should be a great up-and-down game tonight, Dave. The 2 top scoring teams in the conference. Tennessee leading the league at 83 a game, and Florida second at 81 a game.
These two clubs shoot the ball extremely well. Offensively, you could almost say they're equals in a lot of areas. It's on the defensive end where you separate these two clubs, although Tennessee gets the steal and the run out and the layup by C.J. Watson, and Tennessee's on the board first.
And that's what Tennessee does better than anyone in the conference. They lead the league in turnover margin at over 6.5 more turnovers forced than they commit.
Brewer off the glass, too strong. Joakim Noah knocks it out of bounds.
Tennessee averaging nearly 10.5 steals a game. Dane Bradshaw read where Torian Green was going with the basketball, anticipated the pass, able to get in the passing lane and start that break. Easy basket for C.J. Watson in Tennessee to get it started.
Here's Bradshaw off to Wingate. Nice pump fake to the basket, lays it up and in.
Chris Lofton drawing so much attention. Corey Brewer never even looked at Major Wingate. The Tennessee players now starting to feed off the defensive attention that Lofton is drawing and benefiting from that. Major Wingate an easy bucket.
Brewer, top of the key. Got it. Corey Brewer is only shooting 28% from behind the arc. That's his 23rd three. Bradshaw the other way, off the iron. Joakim rips it away from him.
Teams will try to take chances doubling off Corey Brewer. He's one guy that you think you can leave for Florida. He proved at Vanderbilt, hitting 5 out of 6 3-pointers and scoring 26 points. You better guard it.
Both these teams coming off tough losses over the weekend. Tennessee loses at Alabama. Florida loses in overtime at Arkansas. Brewer a little bit out of control. Ed Valentine says it touched the end line, so it'll be Tennessee basketball.
Tennessee doing a really nice job defensively so far. In the last 3 ball games, they've given up 92 to Alabama, 89 to Auburn, 78 to Georgia. The Vols need to pick it up defensively, and they're doing a nice job so far tonight.
There's a tie-up. Arrow favors Tennessee. First meeting, Tennessee won 80 to 76.
Great D by Torian Green. See him reaching in behind C.J. Watson, one of the best point guards in the league. Torian Green picking it from him on that play.
And in that 80 to 76 win, that snapped Florida's 17-game win streak. School record 17 straight. Here's Wingate. Shot clock down to 5. Brewer blocks the shot. Here's a run out by Corey Brewer. He lays it up and in.
Corey Brewer showing you the entire package there, blocking the shot. Chris Lofton was at nearly half court, and Corey Brewer at 6'8", still able to block the shot and start the break and finish the break. A very difficult matchup for Chris Lofton going against Corey Brewer, the best one-on-one perimeter defender in the league.
Patterson off the Lofton. Shot clock under 10 again. And a hold against the Gators. That'll go against Horford. Here's Wingate. No look underneath. Patterson blocked by Joakim Noah. Patterson will try it again, and it's blocked again. Tennessee still has it. Plenty of time on the shot clock, but Watson wastes little time. Torian Green with the rebound.
Physical play so far. That favors the Gators.
Joakim Noah, too strong. Chris Richard with the follow. Patterson. Big hop step, then off the glass.
Andre Patterson using his quickness, but Florida very physical in these last few sequences with their inside guys.
Here's Richard again, working on Wingate. Couple of big boys. Richard won that battle.
Richard, Noah, the big guys for Florida taking over this ballgame. Al Horford, those three combined to be dominant forces inside for the Gators.
Here's Watson. Stripped away by Joakim Noah. It's a breakout. Hodge. Oh. Corey Brewer is all over Chris Lofton like I don't think he's seen in his year-and-a-half career in the SEC.
Smothering defense from Corey Brewer.
Juwan Smith, he's been hot of late from behind the arc. Juwan, a 36% three-point shooter, but he has 46 now on the year. And a timeout taken by Billy Donovan as the Gators lead it 11-9 with 14:49 to go in the opening half. So we'll return to the O'Connell Center after this message from the University of Tennessee. Told us today that his team has a chance to run just about any team out of a gym, but on the flip side, the way they play, they can get run out of a gym.
And you see that they're not applying the pressure right now. Tennessee has dropped back. They're playing half-court defense. And in this building, this game could get going too fast for Tennessee's liking. The big men for Florida able to run the court so well, and you don't wear these Gators down. They're too deep for that. Tennessee taking the pressure off, at least for the time being, from a full court standpoint.
Here's the freshman Hodge, ran right into Dane Bradshaw on a whistle. But the Gators on the move. They know what to do with it when they get it near the hole. That American Revolution. You look at our SEC scoring leaders. Chris Lofton is 4th in the Southeastern Conference in scoring. He's also up there in field goal percentages and leads the league in three-point percentage. But I'll tell you something, his last 4 games have been disgustingly good. Over the last 4 games, he's averaging 27.8 points. He's shooting 70%, over 70% from behind the arc, 29 of 41 three-pointers. And it's the range on his three-point shot that is absolutely astonishing to me.
He's shooting 71% on threes, only 39% on his twos. So the strategy for Florida, chase him inside the three-point line. Don't let him get off the threes. He's 0 for 1 tonight.
Lee Humphrey has been coming off the bench since his return from a bicycle accident where he separated his shoulder. Humphrey guarding C.J. Watson. Here's Bradshaw.
Corey Brewer out of the game right now. Lofton may be able to get off a good shot.
Rolled around and no good for Wingate from 17. Dorian Green pushes the tempo.
See if the Gators can get it inside. Dane Bradshaw playing the power forward right now, so a mismatch inside.
25 teams in the nation presented by Q Motor Oil, and there's number 10 and number 12. They're right here on this floor in front of us. And LSU continues to hang around as they lead the SEC Western Division race with a 10-2 record, of course tied with Tennessee for an SEC regular season championship, but obviously with Alabama's loss last night to Arkansas in a great game. That gave LSU a little bit more cushion in that western side of things. So unless the Tigers have a meltdown down the stretch, you almost have to think it's theirs to lose.
Yeah, but they're thinking overall SEC title for sure. That's been a focus of John Brady. He's talked with his team about winning the SEC outright title. So they're chasing Tennessee, matched up. Both those teams 10-2 right now, LSU and Tennessee.
LSU at Vanderbilt tonight, by the way. We'll keep you abreast of that score as we go along tonight.
Dave, this game, the first game between ranked opponents in the SEC. Two teams meeting while they're ranked at the same time. It's the first meeting tonight.
Here's Green to the basket. He got it to go down. 6-point Florida lead.
Oh. And Florida taking advantage of that pressure and getting the layup.
In that first meeting, Tennessee forced Florida into 19 turnovers. Tennessee, by the way, really good at handling the basketball. You've alluded to it. They only turn it over 12 times a game, which is second best in the league. Here's Asumnu. Smith out of the corner. Bradshaw the rebound.
Sumner's jacked up tonight. He almost threw that pass over Jawan Smith's head over in the corner.
Here's Smith. Bradshaw will try a three. He's got it. Dane Bradshaw. He's now 14 out of 50 on the air from behind the arc.
You always wonder for Tennessee, how are they going to generate the points? If Chris Lofton isn't doing it, if C.J. Watson isn't doing it, how will they generate the points? But there always seems to be someone doing it.
Chris Richard with his second dunk of the game.
Florida getting to that advantage inside. Richard matched up against Dane Bradshaw, getting a slam.
Smith, no look inside. Patterson. Tie up, and Hodge has it. And a push against Tennessee.
And then when a player penetrates, if you give any help, there's a wide open three-point shooter waiting on the wing. That time Dane Bradshaw with the finish for the ball.
Dane Bradshaw, the power forward slash backup point guard slash whatever you want me to do kind of guy, has really been the glue to this team. I mean, he epitomizes where this team is. It is amazing to me that somebody like Dane Bradshaw, who's 6'4", 200 pounds, on a nightly basis plays guys that are sometimes 5-6 inches taller than he is and still gets the job done.
Matched up against Al Horford right now. Just a matchup that Florida should really be able to.
We are ready. Dorian Green, talented point guard. This has been a great year for point guards in the Southeastern Conference. You look around the league, Ronald Steele, Dorian Green, C.J. Watson.
Trey Kelly, Sunday out of Gaines, Ferguson, Jefferson, and Arkansas. Everywhere you look, there's an excellent point guard in this league.
Noah with a power move and a blocking foul against Bradshaw. Center in Gainesville, Florida. And Alltel presents the Alltel SEC Trivia question. And tonight's question is, before this season's win over then number 2 Florida, when was the last time Tennessee beat a team ranked number 2 or number 1? Think about that for a minute. Now, obviously, Florida had a chance, Barry, to be number 1.
Yeah.
There were 3 unbeatens going into that Saturday. And when we got to the Florida-Tennessee game, the Gators were the last unbeaten left in the country. A win by Florida would have made them number 1, but that would not be the case.
Tennessee with 2 wins over teams in the top 6 in the country so far this year. Knocked off Texas when they were number 6. And Florida when they were number 2. Vols just having an amazing season. It's great to see them back near the top of the SEC in basketball with all the football rivalries that they have. I think that helps generate a lot of interest in basketball too, with the Alabama and Georgia and Florida so used to battling the Vols in football. It's easy for their fans to get jacked up and generate a little hatred for the Vols in hoops too.
Tried to hit Asumnu. And it will stay Tennessee basketball. 7-point Gator advantage. With 11:46 to go here in the opening half.
The Gators just tracking Chris Lofton all over the court, double teaming him at times when he has the basketball. Just doing their best not to let him get a shot on.
High arching shot over Al Horford. Amazing.
That is ridiculous. Al Horford coming out there to contest that shot. Horford at 6'8", Lofton able to get it over.
Look at our Dr. Pepper score. LSU trailing to the Commodores early. We'll keep you abreast of that game. Horford with a big offensive rebound. Had it knocked out of his hands. And a foul against Dane Bradshaw.
There go the Gators taking charge inside. Al Horford just overpowering Bradshaw to get that rebound. But at the other end, Lofton with Corey Brewer base guarding him. Lofton able to come up with that ball in the scramble situation. Had a little bit of space. Had to arch it a little higher than he wanted to with Horford flying at him. And nothing but net on that jumper.
And Humphrey go to that Gator bench. T.J. Watson back in. Jordan Howell takes a seat.
got to find Chris Lofton.
Asumnu, with his 42-inch vertical, just got up over everybody and knocked it down.
A great job by Andre Patterson pushing the ball in the break. Watson was double teamed, and Patterson pushed it.
Now Horford with a strong move.
Florida very good in transition themselves, able to push the ball down the court. Torian Green, one of the very best point guards in this league, finding Horford for the easy bucket.
Lofton pump fake on Brewer, lets the shot go off the mark. Huertas the rebound.
Lofton just a little bit off balance. He had to look over his shoulder to make sure he had space to get that shot off. Corey Brewer, a tough defender to go against.
Here's Brewer. Joakim Noah, little running right-hander, no good. And he just battles and nearly came up with the basketball, but it will be Volunteers possession. Well, fans, be sure to watch for the Geico College Basketball Care You. With a near takeaway. Corey Brewer sprained his ankle in that first matchup in Knoxville in the first half, late in the first half. It looked, I happened to be calling that game, and when it happened, it looked like he had broke his ankle, but he ended up coming back after the intermission and finished with 20 points in that game, despite playing on that bad ankle. But it took him almost a month, almost to this point, to become 100% healthy.
Yeah, I was surprised to see him continue on in that game, and even more surprised to see him come back and play on that following Wednesday.
Had his hands on it. Now Brewer. In and out.
Horford getting that chip in on that play. As Florida continuing to dominate the backboards. They're leading Tennessee 10-5 in that category.
And the jam from Patterson. Count the basket.
These balls, they aren't very physical, but they are tough. Tennessee able to get it inside. Beautiful pass from C.J. Watson. And Andre Patterson taking it up strong and slamming it over Chris Richard.
Florida fouls on number 32, Chris Richard. His second team foul.
That'll be the first foul on Richard. Patterson set to go to the line. But we'll wait a moment as Ted Valentine, Doug Sermons go over to the scorer's table to check something on the monitor.
They're trying to see if that was indeed tipped by Horford at the other end of the court, I believe.
Has been inserted into the starting lineup the last 8 games and really has produced. And when I talked to Bruce Pearl about the addition of Patterson into the starting lineup, moving Stanley Asumnu off the bench, he said it was just a matter of getting what he considers the 5 best basketball players on the floor at the same time, to give them a few extra minutes together. It's not that Asumnu's playing that many fewer minutes. It's just a matter of giving Patterson maybe a couple extra minutes with the starting 5.
Yeah, Asumnu is really...
Florida by 3. Gators shooting 56% from the field. Tennessee shooting 50% from the field.
The Gators leading the nation in field goal percentage, shooting over 51% or over 50%. Over 51% on the season. Tennessee, the worst in the conference at field goal percentage defense. Big advantage for the Gators.
Here's Horford, shot clock at 10. Well off the mark.
Wow.
Lofton the rebound.
That's the shot you want Florida to take. One of their big guys out at the three-point line. That makes it easier for Tennessee to rebound around the basket.
is Lofton. Big hop step.
Travel on that.
And a traveling violation against Lofton.
Matondo has played very well for the Gators off the bench. 4 for 4 from the field and 8 points.
That combination of Richard, Noah, and Horford combined to score 31 points, 17 rebounds, and they shoot about 69% from the field has improved. That's pretty good numbers from your post play. There's Richard, spin move, right on cue. And a steal by Joakim Noah. Couldn't get it to go down. Patterson the rebound.
That's the type of play that Tennessee has lived on all season.
Wingate off the dish from Watson.
C.J. Watson pushing it and dealing. Major Wingate the easy bucket.
Here's Hodge. Walter Hodge, the freshman out of Puerto Rico. Corey Brewer comes off the screen. Lean in, no good. Watson the rebound.
Game getting in a little bit of a scramble mode here with Florida taking jump shots instead of their low post moves. Gators need to make sure they settle down and get that ball inside to guys like Richard and Noah.
Patterson. Tried to get Smith the basketball, but it didn't happen. 3-on-1. Lofton. Knocks it out of bounds and saves what could have been a possible Florida dunk. Timeout on the floor. And a throwback weekend in the SEC. This could be one for the ages.
Like assembling a great team.
Basketball. We're in one of the great environments in the Southeastern Conference and really in the country. And you look at those Tennessee uniforms, which those go back to the mid-70s. It was voted on by the fans, and they decided to go with the jerseys that were worn by guys like Ernie Grunfeld and Bernard King, a highly successful era in Tennessee basketball, while Florida, they're going with those jerseys from the late 60s and early 70s when guys like Neil Walk, Andy Owens, Gary Keller, Eugene Schei played for the Gators. But Barry, as you said to me last weekend when we were doing a game up in Athens, it's not really a throwback till they get the right short.
Exactly.
Off the inbounds, Chris Richard lays it up and in.
Florida again taking advantage of the man-to-man D by Tennessee on the inline out of bounds. Chris Richards taken free for another basket. He's at 12 points already.
Lofton double team, hits Wingate in the corner, cross court. Smith already has 1 3.
See the Gators forcing Chris Lofton to give up the basketball when he comes off those screens. They don't want him taking shots.
Great defensive stand by the Gators. Here's Walter Hodge. Inside to Noah. An easy layup over Jawan Smith.
A nice job by Walter Hodge waiting for Noah. Noah running the court. Gators taking advantage of several of those opportunities tonight.
Well, 7 turnovers by Tennessee. Should make that 6 turnovers by Tennessee, and they average 12 and a half a game. And Noah steps on the sideline and turns it over.
That's the old force out play. We used to have that rule. Officials could call a force out and allow the team that was forced out to keep possession. That rule's gone, and Tennessee gets the ball.
Look at our Dr. Pepper scoreboard, and LSU now out in front of Vanderbilt by 5. Auburn over Mississippi State. Duke has rallied from 9 down to take the lead over Georgia Tech in Atlanta.
LSU and Tennessee, of course, battling for the overall title.
And when Joakim Noah did that,
yeah,
what separates those two plays?
The white jersey. Home team gets those calls very often.
It's
just part of
it. Right.
Yeah, just what you deal with when you go on the road.
Here's Joakim Noah. Goes inside. Wingate with a big time block. Then Hodge with a good play on the opposite end pushes the tempo. Brewer behind the arc.
No good. Rebound to Asumnu.
Just the shot Coach Donovan told me this afternoon that his team doesn't want.
Joakim Noah with the rebound. That'll be 4 for Joakim. And Tennessee steps on the sideline. C.J. Watson right in front of that Florida bench.
Tennessee trying to battle against Florida's inside dominance. Major Wingate knocking that shot off the backboard to get possession for Tennessee. Great hustle by Walter Hodge after that blocked shot to get possession back for the Gators.
Wingate shooting 54% from the floor this year.
Another guy who has improved dramatically for the Vols from last season to this season. Major Wingate, Dane Bradshaw, Stanley Asumnu, those are guys that you were frightened to have on the court if you were a Tennessee fan last year. And they're being very productive this season.
Boy, Bruce Pearl on the opposite side giving Bruce Benedict quite an earful. Corey Brewer, who had missed his last 3 field goal attempts all from behind the arc, finally gets one to go down inside the paint. Here's Noah with it. Patterson. Bounce pass to Wingate. Stripped out of his hands by Noah.
Another great defensive play by Noah. So athletic.
It'll be Florida basketball.
The athleticism from the big man. Joakim Noah at 6'11", able to get out in the passing lanes and knock the ball away.
America.
Gators dominating Tennessee in the fast break point statistic, 10-2. Joakim Noah, of course, the star touring around Europe.
A 10-2 Florida run over the last 3 minutes and 10 seconds. The lead has ballooned to 11. Tennessee fell behind by double figures in the first half to Florida up in Knoxville. Came back, obviously, to win that game. Tennessee has been through the comeback club all year long.
The ball is so explosive, they can score in bunches with their three-point shooting and their ability to force turnovers.
Lofton hit the deck, wanted a foul, no whistle.
Good D by Torian Green.
Brewer hung in the air, double clutched and laid it in. Another takeaway by the Gators. Horford. Tennessee's having trouble just getting it inbounds. Watson goes the distance.
And it's similar pressure that Florida is putting on Tennessee that the Vols see in practice every day. You know, they always say pressing teams don't like to be pressed.
Tennessee has turned it over their season average already. They have 12 turnovers. And a traveling violation against Corey Brewer.
We are seeing some reaching in allowed so far tonight. The players need to adjust to it.
2 high-scoring teams getting up and down the floor here at the O'Connell Center, where Florida leads it by 11. Some of the rowdy reptiles who were in here 2 hours before the game making plenty of noise. They could not wait for this rematch. They've got it, and their club's up 11. Bruce Pearl, look at him. He's already sweated through his entire suit. His family, many of his family members, of course, he grew up in the Northeast, but many of his family, including his mom and dad, moved down to South Florida.
Yeah, his pants are wet. Did somebody pour a bucket of water on the guy? Good grief.
Yeah. But his mom and dad drove all the way up. He had to get 24 tickets for tonight's game for his family that lives here in the state of Florida.
I understand Coach Summit was going to be in the house tonight. Can't see her over there behind the Tennessee bench.
Lofton, top of the key, drains the 3. Lofton now, 2 out of 5 for 6 points.
Lofton better get to work while Corey Brewer is out.
Bradshaw grabs the rebound. Here's Lofton. He's trying to go to work. Got it! 2 threes in a matter of 22 seconds.
And you just know it's going in as soon as he lets it go. Even if he's off balance, that is a terrible shot for anybody in the SEC other than him.
Richard is now 7 out of 7 from the field for 14 points off the bench.
And every time the Gators get the ball around the basket, whether it's Richard or Horford or Brewer, any of those guys inside ringing the bell when they get it down low.
Approaching 2 minutes to go before intermission. Bradshaw. Nearly a turnover.
Great hustle by Lofton and Watson, those two working together to save that possession.
Shot clock at 6. And a foul on the inside against Asumnu, battling Hodge for the rebound.
Should be 1-1 for Florida now. Chris Lofton, after warming up, hitting a three-pointer that was contested here in the transition situation. There are very few players in this conference that can get on balance and get that shot off and deliver it with the accuracy. No one can deliver it with the accuracy that Lofton can, as the ball staying in this game by knocking down the three-pointers.
Lofton 3 out of 6. Jordan Howell now. Bradshaw spins on Noah. Kicks it out to Patterson. Andre working on Chris Richard. Now it's Lofton as Brewer checks back in after those 2 quick threes. Lofton will try it again. No good. Noah the rebound.
And Corey Brewer really bothering Chris Lofton at 6'8". Does a nice job contesting the jumpers from Lofton.
Brewer to the basket. No good. Lofton the rebound. Pile up on the other end of the floor as Lofton gets another 3 to go. And Brewer looks like he may have twisted the ankle again. He and Patterson battling at the other end.
Corey Brewer looks like he's okay, but Chris Lofton in transition, that's where he's most dangerous. As you see Brewer, who is normally defending Chris Lofton, stuck at the other end of the court, and Lofton taking advantage of it. When he sees anyone other than Corey Brewer on him, he's going to look for that shot very aggressively.
Brewer looks to be okay. I didn't see exactly what happened. I know Patterson was already on the floor, and then the next thing I know, I look back the other way, and then Brewer is laying on the floor, and both were slow to get up.
Patterson may have grabbed him, but the two of them did get tangled up, and the officials are checking it out, making sure we got no punches or any funny business in that situation.
Little tangle.
A ton of contact on that play. I was surprised that there wasn't a call there, and Andre Patterson did reach up and trip Corey Brewer as he was trying to step over him and head back down the court. But I don't see that there's much they could do about that.
Well, regardless, Tennessee has put together a nice little spurt here. They were down 11. They have now ran off an 11-2 run, mainly behind the 9 points from Chris Lofton in the matter of a minute and a half.
The human 9-0 run, Chris Lofton.
Lofton now with a dozen points to lead his Tennessee club, while Chris Richard is leading Florida with 14 points. Joakim Noah with 8.
Bruce Pearl breathing life into this Tennessee program, much as Billy Donovan did for the Gators. As we get one more look at this situation, Andre Patterson on the floor. We're not going to see it on that play, but as Brewer was trying to get headed up the court, he was trying to step over Patterson. Patterson reached up and grabbed his foot. Chris Lofton finishing that break situation. Today, Billy Donovan sitting here with halfway to 500 wins. Program with only 5 trips to the NCAAs before he arrived. Coach Donovan has built a mighty program down here in Gainesville.
Dorian Green, a quiet first half, just 1 out of 3 for the field, 2 points.
This is a game for the big guys. Dorian Green and all these Florida Gators, very unselfish, looking to do whatever it takes to win ball games, not concerned about individual achievements.
Joakim Noah hacked by Major Wingate. He'll step to the free throw line.
The announcers for this game are so
A workout over there on the sideline.
it just means it's plumbing work.
And it's warm. A beautiful day down here in Gainesville, sunny Florida, living up to its reputation this February day down here in Gainesville.
Tennessee can hold it for the final shot. Wingate bobbles the ball off the glass. Nice looking shot by Wingate over Chris Richard. Here comes Torian Green with 5 to go. Brewer to the basket, no good. Knocked out of bounds. It'll be Tennessee basketball with 1.3 left. But our crew is discussing it, and it will be Florida basketball with 1.3 seconds to go.
Balls have to contest around the basket. Florida on several occasions have been able to shake a cutter loose right underneath the basket. That's what they're looking for now.
Richard had it knocked out of his hands. Surprised that didn't go in from Chris Lofton. But instead, it's a 40-36 halftime lead for Billy Donovan's Florida Gators. We're at halftime. Stay with us right here on JP Sports.
SEC basketball is brought to you by Bell South, by Q Motor Oil, by Crystal, by Buick, and by Geico.
Visit Geico.com.
Brings 400 Boys and Girls Club members to UT's campus for a day of fun and games. He's spoken about the importance of teamwork at a youth probationary boot camp and about dedication and discipline to area elementary schools. JP Sports is proud to salute Stanley Asumnu for being named a member of the SEC Good Works team.
The best of the conference is presented by Chevrolet as we look at the SEC steals leaders. And Ronnie Brewer, no shock there that Ronnie Brewer is leading the league at 2.5. But C.J. Watson and Chris Lofton, I think Lofton is probably a surprise for many people that he averages over 2 steals a game. Coming into this year, not necessarily known as a defensive player. All that is changing. It is halftime here at the O'Connell Center, where Florida's biggest lead was 13 points, but then Chris Lofton went a little crazy, hitting 3 consecutive three-pointers, and it's 40-36. Dave Neal back alongside Barry Booker. And Barry, I thought Florida had a chance to really open this up. They got Tennessee turning the basketball over to a tune of a dozen times. The fact that they're only up by 4 right now, it's got to be some kind of consolation prize, if you will, for Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely. They are very fortunate to be this close, and it's because Chris Lofton got rolling, knocked down some three-point shots, and kept his club in the ballgame.
Well, certainly everybody's starting to look at the Southeastern Conference standings as we look at our Advanced Auto Parts standings, starting with the East. And you see 2 games separate Tennessee and Florida right now. A win by Tennessee clinches at least a share of the SEC Eastern Division crown.
Just amazing. The season that Tennessee is having, 19 wins already, trying to get number 20. It would be a big one here in Gainesville. And at the bottom of those standings, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, teams like that still thinking if they can win out, they're candidates for the tourney.
LSU now with a 3-game lead over Alabama in the West. And as you said, LSU wants to win the West, but they have bigger aspirations, and that's claiming an SEC outright championship.
Absolutely. And Alabama on their heels, trying to make their way in the NCAAs. Arkansas also trying to get there.
Yeah, Arkansas really doing some damage now. They got it rolling over in Fayetteville. Barry Booker wanted to join that crowd, but I said he couldn't do it.
Thanks.
Not on my watch, anyway. It's halftime. Back with more in a moment. Well, let's take a look at our Crystal halftime scoreboard. Get you caught up with what's going on. First of all, around the Southeastern Conference, Kentucky having their way with Ole Miss, and LSU and Vandy in a real tight one up in Nashville.
Big game for both as Auburn dominating Mississippi State, up 19 on
Our score here. Florida 40, Tennessee 36. I told Booker not to bring out the Speedo.
That's twice.
Featuring me to get up.
Toyota Info Center on jpsports.com, your online destination for JP Sports coverage of Southeastern Conference basketball. Our score at halftime, Florida leads Tennessee by 4, 40-36. Florida had a 13-point advantage earlier in that first half. But Barry Booker, I still think, even though Tennessee's down 4 at this point, Florida's got to feel good right now that they're doing what they want to do, and that is create some turnovers and get Tennessee out of sync.
Well, the Gators doing a great job with their inside game, getting it down low to their big guys. Joakim Noah had a really nice first half, came up with several steals, and got some points around the basket as the Gators got in transition and really forced Tennessee to kind of back off on a great first half for the Florida big guys. And on the other end, Tennessee able to get back into this ball game by hitting three-point shots. The ball 6 out of 12 on threes. Juwan Smith hit one kind of early in the first half, and then late in the first half, Chris Lofton got rolling to cut this lead down to 4.
Take a look at our halftime stats presented by Sonic Drive-Ins, and Tennessee shooting 52%. But it's those 12 turnovers, I think, that has Bruce Pearl probably all knotted up in that locker room.
Yeah, the Vols have to do a better job taking care of the basketball. And the Gators, as expected, dominating inside. 26 points to the Vols, 12 in the paint.
What Billy Donovan said, we got to just feed the monster. His monster works in that paint. They've been quite successful tonight. Second half basketball is on the way. 4 at a full house at the O'Connell Center. A noisy crowd on hand. Well, I guess you could say that every time Florida plays, and they have been awed at times by the shooting of this man.
And we told you earlier, he has shot 71% on threes over the last 4 ball games, 29 of 41, and he's keeping that going tonight. 4 out of 8 from three-point range. All of his attempts have been from three-point range, and Lofton leading the way for the Vols tonight. 12 points.
Lofton needed 8 more three-pointers for the UT season record, which was set by Allen Houston, who hit 99 threes back in the 91 campaign. So with the three-pointers tonight, obviously Lofton well on his way. Heck, he might set the single season record here tonight.
Halfway to what he needs. I think the Vols will need him to get there if they're going to win this ball game.
By the way, Chris Richards with a phenomenal first half. 7 out of 7 from the floor. Career high 14 points. Here's Horford out to Brewer. They'll dump it down to Joakim Noah. Working on Patterson, left-hander. Up and good. Joakim Noah now with a dozen.
Excellent possession by the Gators. Faded inside, didn't have it. Kick it out, and they push it right back inside for 2.
Back comes Tennessee.
C.J. Watson a little bit quiet in the first half. His 3rd field goal on the game now with 6 points. And Lofton only had 6 points. The only game he hadn't been in double figures all season against Florida in Knoxville. Only 6 points in that game.
Block shot by Patterson. Here's Brewer. Working on Lofton. Tough shot. Brewer tried to draw the foul, didn't get it. It'll be Tennessee basketball. Both clubs shooting 50% from the floor. How about the combination in the backcourt for the Gators of Torian Green and Lee Humphrey? They're combined 1 out of 4 in this game for 2 points. Green averaging 14 a game, Humphrey 10 a game.
But that's not bad.
Inside, and Bradshaw gets it to go down, so Dane will step to the line with a 3-point opportunity. Dane Bradshaw.
Tennessee had 7 players score in the first half. The Vols getting a balanced attack tonight, everyone contributing. And Dane Bradshaw coming up with a possible 3-point play.
In and out. Rebound to Joakim.
Bradshaw hurt his right wrist earlier in the year. Doesn't have that big bandage that he wore for several games on tonight.
Actually hurt it against Florida. Here's Joakim Noah with another steal and a jam.
Several times tonight, Joakim Noah underneath the basket has been able to take the ball away from Tennessee. Often as the Vols are just trying to throw it in bounds, that time after a rebound, Noah, another bucket.
Wingate inside to Patterson. Boy, the quick hands of Horford and Joakim Noah underneath are just hard to deal with.
Block shot by Noah there. Got a piece of that one.
Here's Noah working on Wingate. Little crossover and then a hard foul by Wingate.
With the Gators going to try and jam it in there all night long. Major.
Now he'll go take a seat. A late addition to the substitution table was Juwan Smith.
So the balls get even smaller. It feels like Florida really dominating this game, but you keep looking at the scoreboard and it's only a 5-point edge for the Gators.
Tennessee has hit 17 of 32 shots. Noah with the rebound. Here's Torian Green. Takeaway. C.J. Watson on the move. He'll lay it up and in. Boy, how quick did Noah get down the floor, though?
Oh, pretty pass from Bradshaw. It looked like Watson had cleared the field, but Joakim Noah, one of the fastest players in the league.
Here's Green into the lane. Stripped out of there by Bradshaw. Last touch by Dane, so it will be Florida basketball.
Tennessee gets the steal. Looks like CJ has a clear path, but he was distracted when he saw the flash. Joakim Noah right there next to him almost blew that layup.
Horford spins off the glass.
All night, if Florida can get that ball to their big guys on the block, it's easy pickings for the Gators.
Bradshaw cuts to the basket. Will fall away over Noah. No good, and a foul underneath against Torian Green.
Here's Florida dominating, and the Gators 32-18 dominating the paint tonight against the Vols. Well, rebounding. Tennessee hanging right in there. Florida 21 boards to Tennessee's 18. That's not bad for the Vols.
Here's Lofton, and he gets held by Brewer.
Dave, you mentioned earlier about Green and hunking a lot of shots. They need them setting up their big guys. The unselfishness, the team play that this Gator club has shown all season long, showing up with the guards not trying to take over this ball game.
That is just the 5th foul in the entire game against Florida. They had 2 personal fouls in the first half, 3 here in the second. There's Richard off the Bradshaw miss.
Bradshaw does a nice job penetrating into the lane, but the Gators understand that he's not the best threat to score when he goes in there, especially when he's being guarded by one of these Gator big guys.
Al Horford. Well, Bradshaw's got the unenviable task of trying to guard Chris Richard down in that paint. Richard goes 6'8", 255.
Gators need to find that matchup. Looks like they're not going to do it this trip.
And then Patterson with the rebound.
Lofton doesn't have Brewer guarding him right now. And Lofton would love to get the basketball if he can.
Back to Bradshaw. He's open for 3. His second 3 of the game is perfect.
Bradshaw making Florida pay for going to double team Chris Lofton. Lofton took those 2 defenders away from Bradshaw, pitched it over, and Dane knocked out another jumper.
Boy, Dane's perimeter game has really improved this year. It'll be Tennessee basketball, just the 7th Gator turnover. 14:53 to go here in Gainesville, and Tennessee not deterred by the loud vocal crowd at the O'Connell Center. We come to you with our All-Tell SEC Game of the Week, and before this season's win over Florida, can you remember the last time Tennessee beat a team ranked number 2 or number 1?
I'm going to say Kentucky.
That would probably be a good guess. It was back in 1993. Of course, we'll have another All-Tell SEC trivia question for you during our next telecast. And there's a woman who's won plenty of games against top-ranked teams. I mean, I've been close to half her wins have been against ranked opponents. Pat Summitt, the all-time winningest coach in the history of college basketball. Men or women, over 900 wins.
Their recent home SEC winning streak came to an end. I was stunned when I heard when that started. 96.
I actually did the game that they lost in 96 to Georgia.
And you've been around a while.
I guess I'm just the jinx. I was there when Florida's 17-game winning streak was snapped earlier this year in Knoxville. Lofton with that rebound. Two-point game.
Tennessee hanging right in, going toe-to-toe with the Gators here on the road.
Sununu misfires. Adrian Moss with the rebound.
The Vols were absolutely hammered at Alabama. The Tide shot 76% in the first half, had 57 points at the half. There are people saying, well, there it goes, Tennessee, the wheels are about to come off. A lot of people have been saying that all year long as the Vols just continue to roll.
Up ahead, great teamwork. Asumnu on the other end lays it up and in.
A beautiful job. Lofton getting the steal, pitching it to Watson, and then ahead to Stanley Asumnu for the lay-in.
Barry, we are tied at 47. It just doesn't feel like we should be tied at 47.
Well, the Vols are able to turn Florida into a perimeter team. They force them to use a lot of clock out away from the basket. And then the Gators aren't able to get it to their big guys down low.
And the Gator turnover gives it back to Tennessee.
Here's a steal. Tennessee aggressive defensively. Lofton with the anticipation. And then C.J. Watson making that smart play, seeing his teammate on the deck, going over to collect the ball and just pitch it ahead for the easy bucket.
Watson has 8 points in this game for Tennessee. Here's Corey Brewer. Brewer spins. Nice move. Blocked by Patterson.
Looked like goaltending.
Here's Richard on an offensive rebound. Back to Brewer. Inside to Richard, and a hold on Andre Patterson underneath, and that'll be the second foul on Patterson.
Here's Corey Brewer. Looked like an easy shot, and I thought he got it on the glass before the shot was blocked. And usually the ball is on the way down by the time it gets to the glass. I think that was goaltending, but borderline call.
Dorian Green, bounce pass. A little too tough for Chris Richard to handle. Here's Patterson. He leads the break. Off to Asumnu. His little jumper no good, but a blocking foul underneath against Adrian Moss of Florida.
Good idea by Adrian Moss trying to step in there and take that charge with Patterson. Looked like he was out of control.
Well, fans, be sure to visit the Dr. Pepper Fan Fair at the SEC. 5 3-point shots in 30 seconds. You may be selected as one of 2 finalists who will compete to shoot for $1 million from Dr. Pepper during semifinal Saturday, March 11th.
Andre Patterson, the jump hook as the Vols take the lead here in the second half.
Tennessee's last lead came in the opening moments when they led 4-3. And now it's a 2-point game with Tennessee out in front.
Tennessee has just battled and battled all night. Florida has gotten away from their huge advantage, getting it to Noah, Moss, Richard, Horford, getting it to their big guys inside. The Gators just haven't been able to get to that these last few minutes of the ball game.
This has been an interesting game, to say the least. It's been an ebb and flow game. If Florida gets rolling for a 5-minute period and looks unbeatable, and then they slow down, a couple of turnovers here and there, and that few turnovers, Tennessee takes advantage, and they get themselves right back in the game.
And what you would expect, these are the 2 heavyweights in the SEC, the 2 highest ranked teams in the conference in the country. Great ball game, well played tonight here in Gainesville.
Gators have 5 turnovers here in the second half. They had 5 in the entire first 20 minutes. Sununu steps on that inline, so it'll be Gator basketball when we come back. But the Volunteers on the road in hostile territory, leading by a pair. You look at the team scoring in the Southeastern Conference, and the two heavy hitters when it comes to putting points on the board are right here in front of us. Tennessee and Florida. 83 a game for the Vols, 81 for the Gators. And tonight, these two clubs shooting the ball exceptionally well. Tennessee's up over 50% for the game on the road. That's an amazing stat, I would think. And they lead by 2.
They are a tough basketball team. The Gators only 7 points in the second half so far for Florida. Really struggling on the offensive end of the court.
Well, it's a 9-2 Tennessee run over the last 5:09, and that was pretty much the difference and put us where we are right now in this 2-point Tennessee lead. Here's Hodge. He works with Humphrey, Noah, Adrian Moss, and Corey Brewer. Al Horford quick to check in, though, for the Gators on the next dead ball. Humphrey, long three, off the front of the iron. Noah, an offensive rebound. Noah with 15 points, 8 rebounds.
If you can't get it out of the offense, go snatch one off the backboard. Great job by Noah going to get the board.
Loose ball on the floor. Bad shoulder and all. Lee Humphrey laying it on the line. And a tie-up. Walter Hodge standing out of bounds when he touched the basketball. So it'll be Tennessee basketball with 11:08.
Great hustle by Andre Patterson and Jordan Howell getting on the floor, getting possession for Tennessee.
Boy, not a lot of foul shots in this game. Tennessee's 0 for 2 from the line. Florida, 8 out of 11.
Advantage for the Vols with that stat, because this hadn't been a game where we paraded to the foul line, and Florida would be more likely to do that than Tennessee.
Horford with a big block shot at the other end, but Corey Brewer can't take advantage of it.
The officials have allowed quite a bit of reaching in and slapping at the basketball tonight. And that is to Tennessee's advantage, because they can't get up and contest shots, but they're great at slapping, knocking the ball away. The ball's able to get possession with Brewer rushing down the court. The ball knocked away and off his knee.
Bradshaw looking for his third three, won't get it on that trip.
And the Gators get it to Noah or Horford down on the block. Willie Donovan calling a play for him to do just that.
Brewer just 4 out of 13 from the floor. Bradshaw scrambling to the floor. You know, we told you he hurt his right wrist in the first game against
Corey Brewer, doing it all, getting on the court, wiping the floor.
I went out to shake Dane Bradshaw's hand before the game and say hello, Dane. And he stuck out his left hand and said, sorry, man, I can't seem to get this wrist right. You know, he still wears the wrap. And he fights through it, though.
Oh, taking chances with you, fighting through the ravages of the stomach flu.
Yeah, that's been a pleasant few days for me. Horford with 2 on the shot clock. Gets fouled as Childress and Noah tangle up underneath. Patterson looks like he got whacked across the jaw.
Some blood.
He's got blood coming out of his mouth.
Finally, the Gators able to pound it inside. Andre Patterson reaching in, smacking Horford across the arms. But during that scrum, Horford caught Patterson with an elbow in the mouth.
It looks like Noah might be bleeding also at the other end as he comes over to the training table, to the training staff, I should say. So we got what we might have expected from the 2 highest ranked teams in this league.
Now some foul trouble for Tennessee as Patterson now has 3. Wingate has 3 as well.
Substitution for Tennessee, number 1, Major Wingate.
Now Joakim Noah is going to have to come out of the game. Chris Richard will come in.
Gators laboring on the offensive end.
Only 2 free throws for the Volunteers. Although you're not going to hear Florida say much about free throws tonight after what happened to them in Arkansas when the Razorbacks shot 42 free throws to 20 for Florida in that game.
Florida being a more aggressive, a team that's more prone to kicking it inside. That's a surprising stat from that ball game.
Watson high off the glass. Nifty move by the senior out of Las Vegas.
Dave, I told you, it helps to wear your white jersey.
Yeah. And a blocking foul against Childress underneath as Brewer drove the lane.
C.J. Watson slashing down the lane and having to finish over Al Horford. The floater by Watson made it look elementary.
So Corey Brewer now with 10 points. He had 20 in the first meeting with Tennessee. Young man had a triple-double earlier this year against Jacksonville with 15 points, 13 assists, and 10 rebounds. Wingate inside. And a blocking foul against Torian Green. Count the basket.
Tennessee once again making Florida pay for that double team on Chris Lofton. Lofton taking those 2 defenders away from the basket. Tennessee able to move the basketball. Nice pass from Childress inside to Wingate, cutting to the basket. 2 for the Vols. And all that created because Florida not going to allow Chris Lofton to get open and take 3-point shots.
So Wingate now with 10 points, looking for 11. But you know this number? How about this number? 0 rebounds tonight for Major Wingate.
That is part of Major's game that he just hasn't brought this year.
Timeout taken by Lofton before he falls out of bounds.
Timeout, Tennessee.
And we'll take the timeout as well. It's getting to be crunch time here at the O'Connell Center, where the Vols lead it by 2.
Advance Auto.
To determine a lot of things, but one of the things that these guys are playing for certainly is an SEC East crown. And Tennessee, with a win tonight, would claim at least a share. They'd be guaranteed at least a share of the SEC East title. And of course, you get that bye being a first or second in your division in the SEC tournament. And then, of course, it'd also be a sweep of the Gators, first time since the 2000 season. And a win might mean there might be a bonus in the paycheck for Bruce Pearl, and you get that suit dry cleaned.
Actually, there is a bonus in the contract for Coach Pearl, winning a East Division title, winning an overall title. There's a little more juice in that contract, but man, he has worked hard, worked through the suit tonight.
I've never seen it like that. He has completely drenched the suit.
And has not shed the coat either.
Juwan Smith picks up his dribble. 12 on the shot clock. Watson inside, too strong on the layup. Here's a run out by the Gators. Brewer. Bradshaw trying to get back. And what a great play by Dane Bradshaw.
Anticipation, a smart play by Dane Bradshaw, seeing where the ball was going to be.
And Juwan Smith nails a three-pointer. Juwan Smith with a couple of threes tonight. And a scrum at the center court stripe. That'll go against Wingate.
And you can see Corey Brewer chasing the basketball down, and Dane Bradshaw realizing that he's not going to be able to collect it and get a shot. He'll try to catch it and feed his teammate. So Bradshaw cut into that passing lane and able to get the steal for Tennessee, and it ends up with a Juwan Smith three at the other end.
Take a look at some other scores from around. Wow. How about Florida? They are just 4 out of 10 from the floor here in the second half. They have been able to get uncranked offensively. Explain to me why Florida's been shut down here in the second half, Barry.
They have 9 turnovers is the biggest thing. They're not getting shots.
But
and
what is Tennessee doing to create those?
They are not doing, or to keep them from scoring, they're keeping the ball from going inside. We'll get back to it.
Horford blocking the shot. Bradshaw, right place, right time. 59-52, timeout taken by Florida with 7:47 to go. 32nd timeout by the Gators.
Tennessee just smothering Florida defensively in the second half.
Well, we will return to Gainesville after this message from the University of Florida. Look at the block by Al Horford, another big man that can get up and down the floor.
But look at Tennessee jerseys around the basketball after that block. 3 orange jerseys right there to get the easy finish, and the Vols extend their lead to 7.
It's their biggest lead of the game. Tennessee led 4-0 to start this game, and then Florida took over from there in the first half. Lee Humphrey misfires, and then a late whistle against Tennessee.
Dave, Tennessee just doing the job defensively.
7:25 to go. Timeout on the floor.
You paid for
contest. Dontel Jefferson, who got benched, as a matter of fact, the other day, with 4.9 assists per game. But Torian Green today is not having one of his better outings. 2 points, 2 assists.
That is not pretty.
And Florida, a team that ranks among the national leaders in assists per game as a team. They only have 12 assists. And their field.
Before each game, Lee said they are for inflammation, just to get the swelling down, but he is still struggling with the pain from that shoulder injury that he suffered in the freak bicycle accident back a few weeks ago.
Shot by Joakim Noah. There will be 8 seconds on the shot clock. And Chris Lofton has been a non-factor here in the second half for Tennessee as Lee Humphrey goes to that bench. Nice inbounds play. Patterson gets it to go down, but Lofton has yet to score here in the second half.
Only 1 field goal attempt in the second half, but Tennessee still finding answers from other sources. Andre Patterson there with a nice alley-oop on the out of bounds play.
Horford in the lane, up over the iron.
It's been there all night. The Gators just haven't been able to get to it in the second half. Tennessee aggressive, forcing turnovers defensively, sagging at the right time, taking away those inside feeds, and the Florida outside guys aren't producing when they've had the opportunity.
Tough shot by Jawan Smith, last touch by the Gators.
The right call, Corey Brewer reaching in there, knocked it away from Lofton. No reset on the shot clock, it's at 15.
Jawan Smith back to Bradshaw, another 3 on the way. He's got it, Dane Bradshaw. Now with 3 threes in the game, he's got 13 points.
These Vols playing with such confidence when they have the opportunities. And Dane Bradshaw, the drive isn't there against Joakim Noah, but Bradshaw can get out beyond the 3-point line and score.
Torian Green now with 4 points. 6-point game.
Florida getting into a desperate stage of this ball game with Tennessee still leading. The Gators starting to push the tempo a little bit more.
Lofton, little runner in the lane, no good. Horford grabs the rebound. Here's Green, back to Horford. No good. The battle underneath, won by Noah. And Andre Patterson is down on the ground at the other end of the court, and we have a stoppage in play.
With Wingate already with 4 fouls, seeing Patterson on the ground right now, the last thing that the Tennessee Vol fans want to see.
He is in obvious pain.
It looks like it may be a cramp situation. Hopefully so for Andre and Tennessee's sake. Inside player. Andre Patterson taking some salt tablets, drinking some water, trying to get himself ready to get back in the game.
Got 8 points, 7 rebounds, a couple of assists tonight. Tennessee's done a nice job in holding on to the basketball here in the second half. Only 3 second-half turnovers after a dozen in the first 20 minutes. On the flip side, Florida has turned it over 9 times in the second half.
Aided Tennessee greatly with those turnovers and the balls. Watching that clock right now, trying to melt these last 5 minutes away.
And a blocking foul against Torian Green. Torian Green just shakes his head in disgust. It's been one of those nights for Torian.
2 of the best point guards in the conference going at one another. Torian Green caught there with a push.
That'll be the second on Green. Here's Jawan Smith working on Humphrey. The bounce pass from Bradshaw, kicked out of bounds.
Nice play by Tennessee. It was there. Bradshaw just couldn't get the ball over to Wingate.
Bruce Pearl might cramp up here in a minute. He keeps working like he's working.
The job that he has done in Knoxville, just unbelievable. And if you're looking for a basketball coach at the University of Indiana, who in the world would be better than Bruce Pearl?
Bradshaw misfire. So what are you saying?
He's the man, is what I'm saying. Well, I hope he stays in Knoxville, and I believe he will. But he's gonna be in the mix for any job that pops open in the country, you would think, if he wants to be in the mix. He and Mike Hamilton, the athletic director at Tennessee, have talked about a contract extension. They've talked about a lot more money. Bruce Pearl seems very comfortable at Knoxville. He's recruited a great recruiting class. I'll be surprised if he decides to even take interviews with some of these jobs that are going to pop open.
Here's Horford underneath. Noah can't convert. The free throws will be on the way.
An Ole Miss.
Oh, fortunate bounce for the Gators. Corey Brewer gets it to go down. It's a 1-point game. 4:20 to go at the O'Connell Center in Gainesville. Dave Neal and Barry Booker. Glad you could join us on Jefferson Pilot Sports. We thought this would be another monumental clash between these two elite teams, and we have gotten that and then some.
And the ball seemed to pull the reins in a few minutes ago. They had an 8-point edge, seemed to slow things down quite a bit.
Oh, my goodness. The fall away from C.J. Watson.
That's what you need to get things cranked up again. Watson making a huge play for the Vols.
And a foul underneath against Tennessee. That will go against Dane Bradshaw as he's having the tough task of stopping Al Horford underneath. Timeout on the floor, 67-63. Back after these messages from your local SEC stations. Tennessee trailed by 4 at the break. They lead by 4 now. C.J. Watson with a big-time 3 moments ago as Tennessee is 10 out of 20 from behind the arc tonight.
Very Chris Lofton-like with they have all season, finding a way.
Horford gets the first one to go down. Al tonight with 10 points, 4 rebounds, but Joakim Noah has been the story again. He has just been on a furious rally. He has 20 points in this 20-point game. He came in averaging 17 points a game over his last 4.
Joakim and Major having a nice little conversation there. Joakim saying yada, 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 blah, blah, blah.
Watson goes up high for the rebound. 1 out of 2 for Horford.
They're all critical now. You can't afford to miss your free throws with 3:30 to go in this game.
That is what this game will likely come down to. Who can knock down their free throws in this last 3.5 minutes of the game.
Remember, Lofton has yet to score here in the second half.
Had a chance. Dane Bradshaw didn't give him the basketball.
Dane has 3 threes. Shot clock down to 4. Watson's going to have to do something in a hurry. Shot clock violation.
At the other end of the court.
Florida has attempted 21 free throws tonight. Tennessee just 3. But the Gators still trail by 3.
Tennessee relying on the three-point shots. Florida taking it inside. As expected, you get more foul shots with plays like that.
Misses a free throw. He had a chance to tie it up. Florida now 15 out of 22 at the line.
Again, this is a huge game. If Tennessee can hang on and win this ball game, they will clinch the #1 seed from the Eastern Division. And a sweep over Florida.
Watson, Horford with a big-time block. The Gators on the run. Humphrey from the corner. The Maryville, Tennessee native can't get it to go down. Humphrey, in the first meeting with Florida, struggled with his shot as well. 1 out of 5 from the field, just 3 points, and tonight he has two points, and he's 0 for 4 from the
off. Watson, Bruce Benedict ruled it hit the inline. The benefit of slow motion instant replay, I don't think it did hit the inline.
Well, both these teams are excellent at forcing turnovers, forcing the opposition into turnovers, and you can see that in that particular number between these two clubs. Here's Lofton to the basket, blocked by Joakim Noah, and a foul on Noah, who can't believe it. Everybody's all right, but free throws coming up for Chris Lofton, who's a 93% free throw shooter.
Hadn't missed one in conference play. Chris Lofton came up with that steal around half court. It looked like 2 Gators were going to track him down and knock the ball away, but Lofton able to get to the basket and get to the foul line for a couple of big ones. 26 for 26 in conference play, 93% overall on the season.
Lofton with 29 points in that first meeting versus Florida. Don't forget, SEC basketball returns on Saturday. All-Tell SEC game of the week. Some of you will see Arkansas, Tennessee. Others will see Vanderbilt at South Carolina beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern, noon Central. Hope you can join us. That'll be this Saturday. Torian Green fires. In and out, no good. Watson the rebound. And
Noah again making a defensive play, getting the charge on Watson.
And he got, looks like he got blasted across the bridge of the nose or the mouth, and some blood coming out of Joakim's mouth. And a foul on C.J. Watson. One more look at this.
Here's Watson coming up with a rebound, and
a right
elbows flying.
It's a right cross. His right fist actually hit Noah. And Noah is...
He doesn't want to come out of the game. But watch it. It was his elbow as he swings through. That right elbow cracks him right in the mouth. Florida getting possession, but losing the services of Joakim Noah, who has been playing inspired basketball tonight for the Gators.
20 points, 9 rebounds for Joakim.
4 5.
Actually 3 fouls on Watson, 4 on Wingate, 3 on Patterson, 3 on Bradshaw. Here's Horford working on Bradshaw.
Florida's taken a few three-pointers their last few trips down.
Brewer got it. We're tied at 69 with 93 seconds to play. Jawan Smith tries to answer, and he does from the corner.
The Gators finally get one of those three-pointers down, but they need to get their inside game going. Is this game getting down to the latter stages? And what a big one by Jawan Smith. There's the matchup. Great job by Tennessee, bouncing out of that double team inside.
Bradshaw thought he had a steal, but he stepped on the end line. Billy Donovan wants a timeout with 59.8 seconds to go in a 3-point contest. Tennessee won in Knoxville 80-76. It would tied with 20 seconds to play. We'll step aside and return after this message from the SEC. In by Florida tonight means that they would trail in the SEC East race by just a single game. And of course, they would post a winning record in the SEC, which is always a good sign for postseason play and seeding. But they've got some work to do. 7 on the shot clock. Brewer out of the corner, no good. And Horford with the rebound. Here's Humphrey, got it! Tied at 72, and Humphrey knocks down his first 3 of the game.
Lee Humphrey, a guy who had been struggling with his jump shot, only 2 for 10 from 3-point range at Arkansas, just hit a huge one for the Gators. Watson or Lofton on this possession for Tennessee, and probably Watson.
Patterson lost the handle. 25 seconds. 1 shot. Could we be going to overtime? We've got 18.8 seconds to find out. Timeout taken by Florida. It was a classic in Knoxville on January 21st, and this one will go down as another classic. Lee Humphrey has been struggling from the field, but his last shot,
nothing but net shot of the game. Florida now with a chance to hold for the final shot of this ball game. The worst they want to do in this situation is push it to overtime.
Well, if you're thinking about going inside, which is what they have done for most of this game, Joakim Noah is a 68% foul shooter. Al Horford is a 56% foul shooter. Look at our game reset. Tennessee with 3 timeouts remaining. Florida with just 1. Florida already in the double bonus. Tennessee in a 1-and-1 situation.
And Tennessee has to avoid fouling in this situation. You don't want to send the Gators to the line. And Coach Summit nervously, she's down here on a recruiting trip and decided to swing by and check out this ball game. And here's Florida playing defense. They forced C.J. Watson to give up the basketball. Jawan Smith trying to whip that pass over to Andre Patterson. Too hot to handle. And the Gators get possession. And now they've got to play it inbounds. Tennessee putting the heat on.
Chris Richard checks in for Florida. Takeaway. Bradshaw to the basket. He lays it in with 15.9 to go.
Reminiscent of the game in Knoxville, Dane Bradshaw, a lay-in in under 20 seconds left in the game. The Gators couldn't get it inbounds.
Brewer off the mark. Here's Lofton. He's fouled from behind. That'll send Lofton to the line to win it with a couple of free throws with 2.6 seconds to go. A young man who shoots 93% at the line can make it a 4-point game.
Eerily similar to the game in Knoxville with Dane Bradshaw here coming up with a steal and lay-in just as he did in the game in Knoxville. Bradshaw with a lay-in to give Tennessee a 2-point edge with less than 20 seconds to go. And now Chris Lofton stepping to the line trying to give Tennessee the exact 4-point margin that he was able to secure with 2 free throws to ice the game in Knoxville.
How fitting that the team who leads the league in steals at 10.5 a game comes up with a big steal, and Lofton knocks down the free throw. It's a 3-point game, and Lofton, who has been quiet in the second half, now has 15 in the game. Unbelievable that this game is so similar to the one a month ago.
A steal for Tennessee at the end, or we start with the turned ankle and Corey Brewer able to play on, but a steal right at the end of that game. Lofton gets the steal, Bradshaw the lay-in, and then Lofton hit 2 free throws to ice it, give Tennessee the 4-point edge. And Florida, they're not James Brown. They're not getting ready for the big payback, because 2 times they've had the opportunity to get revenge against South Carolina. Coming in here, they weren't able to beat them in this building, and now Tennessee trying to take another one from the Gators.
Lofton with just 3 points in the second half, and they've all been at the free throw line. Bruce Pearl has sweated right through his entire suit. He works as hard as every one of his players, that is for sure. And Lofton stays perfect at the line in SEC games. And with 2.6 seconds to play, this one is all but over.
Incredible. The Tennessee Vols moving to 11-2 in conference play.
That's it. Tennessee, they have surprised everybody all season long, and they did it again here tonight. Unbelievable performance by the Tennessee Volunteers, who trailed by 4 at intermission to win it by 4, 76-72. A remarkable performance, as it has been all season long for Tennessee, who now goes to 20-4 and 11-2 in SEC play. So for our director, Dave Burchett, our producer, Dave Berenger, my analyst, Barry Booker, and the rest of our JP crew, I'm Dave Neal saying so long, everybody. We'll see you down the road. You have been watching Jefferson Pilot Sports' exclusive coverage of Southeastern Conference basketball.